Hi, welcome to the Hmong Women Podcast.
I'm Ariel. I'm Dochi.
And I'm Emily. We wanted to start this podcast as a way to cultivate community with Hmong women across the board and also Hmong men, but really create this community where we can come and talk about topics within the Hmong communities in the comfort of, our own home. Whether you're driving to work, whether you're getting ready for work, getting ready for girls' night out or whatever. And we hope that you're able to join us and really feel like you're talking to friends and really talk about anything and everything in between. All right. So I guess I can get started and introduce myself. So let me pull up my handy dandy notes.
Yep.
So to start off, so my name's Emily. I am 27. I am a Vang. So Vang clan, hello. I was born and raised in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So lived in Minnesota my whole life. I come from a very big family. So 9 kids. I'm one of the youngest. So number 8 of 9. There are 6 girls in our family, 3 boys. And I am a Gemini. For my MBTI, I am an INFP. So I am very much an introvert. Things that I really like to do. I love to hike. I love hiking. I love nature. I love reading, as you can see by the books behind me, if you can see that. I am an aunt. I love being an aunt. And I'm a very big family and friends person, I think. Yeah. I think currently I work in nonprofits. I've worked in nonprofits for the past 7-8 years. I don't know if that's something that I'll be doing moving forward, but it's something that I've always done, something that I enjoy, and something that I'm very passionate about. And yeah, I think we'll address why I decided to do the podcast after these ladies introduce themselves.
So my name again is Dochi, and I'm a Boo, the crazy clan. And I am a Sagittarius, so wishes really well as what I've heard with Geminis. So we're probably equally crazy at this point. Not sure anymore. I want to say, so I grew up in Pennsylvania throughout my early childhood years, and then moved here to Minnesota around middle school, and have been here since then. I'm still very much back and forth about whether I want to stay here long or not. I love the community here. I love the diversity. And you just don't get that in other states, like especially back in Pennsylvania. Although the air there is cleaner, it's more crisp. I love the hiking trails out there. I feel that there's a lot more nature-wise, but to have a community, I can't say that that's something that is out there. So that's one of the reasons why I'm still here in Minnesota and I love it here. Education base, I went to college out in St. Cloud. I actually did my associates at North Hennepin, and that's how I met Emily and Ariel initially. But going out of St. Cloud, I did complete my bachelor's in sociology. Family-wise, I am an only child, which typically surprises people, coming from a very traditional background. And whenever I talk with people, they always assume that I have a very big family, like 8 brothers and sisters. But it's just me in here. And it's been interesting. Although I grew up as an only child, I was really close with my cousins who were like siblings to me. But of course, growing up, moving away from Pennsylvania, we are now all in our own areas. And that's really affected the way that I am today, who I am. And that's all I got that I want to share for today.
Okay, well, I can go next. Hi, everyone. I'm Ariel. I'm the oldest of 5. So I'm the oldest, and we all range from 25 and to 5. So I have a 20-year age gap between me and the youngest, which I really enjoy. I am an Aquarius, so I don't know if that really mixes well with these two, but at least I guess. So yeah, I'm an Aquarius. A little bit about me. I went to North End Community College, and that's sort of where I met these two amazing ladies. And I finished there with an associate's in science, and then I then transferred to the U of M, where I earned my bachelor's in health services management degree. And from there, I didn't really know what to do with my life. And so I was sort of raised, with three options. You either become a politician, a doctor, or a lawyer. So I feel like my options were pretty limited and I didn't really know what to do with my life. So I went into corporate thinking that'd be the right thing to do, and it wasn't. So that for me was one of the things where I had my little aha moment in my little cubicle where I thought to myself, this is probably something that I don't want to do for the rest of my life. So to cut it short, basically I went on a solo trip. I had a hardcore like eat, pray, love moment, if you know that movie. And then I just sort of took a moment to look at all my skill sets and values. So in the past, I've been a project coordinator at Abbott Laboratories. I've been an executive assistant. I'm a previous event planner. So just sort of all those things combined together. I did research, and based off of my skill set and my previous experience, I then started my own virtual assistant gig. And so I started that off by basically putting myself out on Fiverr and LinkedIn and a few other spots. But after I think about a month, I'd probably be working like 40 hours at corporate and then 10 hours at, my side gig. So I think that was about the time, like a month in, where I officially just, said to myself, I think this could be a big thing. And so I quit corporate and I started my own virtual assistant business. And that's what I'm currently doing 2 years in. So it really has been a really great experience, just, building my own business, learning how to grow it, and learning from my mistakes and failures. So I'm a huge entrepreneur at heart, I guess. I say it by, an entrepreneur by accident, but I really enjoy what I do, and I really enjoy being my own boss woman. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I've been in a biracial relationship for the last 2 years, so that's been really great. And then on the side, I also love things like hiking, yoga, working out, meditation, and I'm a really big health and wellness person. So I love learning and listening to podcasts around health and self-improvement.
So, well, thank you, ladies, for sharing all that information about yourselves. And I guess the big question is, why did we start this podcast? And how do we think this is different from other podcasts or the same from other podcasts? And how do we want this to reach other people? And I'm happy to start us off. A big part of joining this podcast for me, and you both know this, is I reached out to the two of you. I hopped on a call with the both of you and I said, are you two interested in doing a podcast? And this came out of a conversation with you, Dochi, because you had an idea about starting a YouTube channel. And you were like, I want to do something, but I don't know how to get it started. And I don't know when I'll have time. And I don't know if I will have the motivation for it. And Ariel, we had some conversations about, I want to move beyond my virtual assistant business and I want to do something. And you had all these really great ideas. And I'm listening to the both of you and I'm like, there's something here. There's something in between the lines. And so I called the both of you and I said, what if we did a podcast? And then both of you were like, yes, let's do it.
No, we did.
Yes. And I remember being so nervous because I wasn't sure if it was a good idea. But I just remember thinking, we're all in different parts of our life. And we all come from such unique perspectives in regards to where we are in our family, because that's where I'm coming from a family science perspective, right? We're all have different roles in our families, but we all play such important roles in our family, especially when it comes to the cultural aspect that we play. And that's why I joined this, because I think we all bring such a unique point of view to how we deal with a lot of the things that are kind of put on our shoulders as Hmong daughters and Hmong women, and what we bring to the world is so unique, and how we've dealt with a lot of our traumas and our issues has been so unique. And I've seen not just myself, but the two of you grow in the past 10 years that we've known each other, almost 10 years. And I just thought we have something really special. And so that's why I thought starting this podcast would be really great. And I just think that it would be very inspirational to other young Hmong women who are very much maybe in the same spot that we are, or starting where we had started. Yeah, so that's why I joined.
I absolutely agree with everything you said. And I was really happy when you initially called. I'm like, what if we did this podcast together? I will say that I was also really nervous. And, just to go back to that point of, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to commit to it. But I'm like, I don't know. I have all that's going on in my life, as you know. And I know that you brought it up a couple times. No pressure or anything. We'll literally be talking about random things like, that's why I said we should start a podcast together. And I think you just kind of planted that great in my head. And one day I was finally like, you know what? I'm tired of this 9 to 5. I don't feel that I'm impacted, just the world in general or what I want to do. I'm not seeing it. And I'm at this point in life where I don't want to continue this continuous cycle that I'm already in. But what am I doing to change it? Right. And, you're definitely correct in that I've been wanting to start my own podcast or a YouTube channel or just a platform to be able to talk about my experiences, because I'm not saying that I have the most unique experiences in the world. As you said, somebody might watch and think, this is stuff that I've heard before. What's unique about this? And that's perfectly fine. But for myself personally, I know that when I was going through my dark moments or the life experiences that I had, I felt that it was very unique to me because I couldn't find anyone on a platform anywhere where I could be like, oh, okay, these are the steps that this person took. This is the advice I can get from here. And, you have family, you have friends, but it's also nice to know if there's a community out there that you can seek out to. And that's the vision that I see for podcasts. Knowing that we may be able to cultivate that and build that here from our very, very different perspectives. I'm an only child. I'm typically at home, and I've just come to learn so much in interacting with both of you guys. And I don't think I really realized the roles we each played in our personal lives and our family until we started talking about this. And until you brought up that fact of, this is my role in my family. I'm in the midst of these older children, these younger kids, and almost like a mother figure, and I do all these things, and I'm like, I can't even relate to that because I'm an only child. I don't have to tend to younger siblings, older siblings. It's just me, and I think that's my unique perspective. And also have a lot of very, very traditional. My backstory of my relationship, maybe yes. We'll get into that, of course, more so later on. But overall, I just think that this is a great place to start talking about our unique paths, and maybe and hopefully it can relate to someone out there. And although we have this as the Hmong Women Podcast, it doesn't mean that we're not including other, other races or other ethnicities, or men's not included here. Now, it's a very open podcast, and that's the point. It's to have those conversations. A lot of them people deem us taboo, and I'm excited to see where we're gonna go from here.
Yeah, so Emily called me up one day. And so I've known these two for a long time, but we'll get into that in the next few episodes, probably not. But Yeah, and like called me and asked me if I wanted to be in a podcast with her, and I said yes because I've been on a different podcast before, but I've always thought about creating one myself, but I've always felt like the creative route was never really for me. So being like a really straightforward analytical person, it was definitely different for me to even, think about being in a group podcast. Not that I was opposed to the idea, just that like I've never done anything really creative that I can think of. So I feel like for me personally, it was a really good reason for me to try this out and to also build a community and build a podcast based off of the same values as I see from my peers. So that's one of the main reasons why I want to do this podcast is so that we can build a community and talk about topics that aren't really talked about. And obviously, like Doji had mentioned, it's not just for the Hmong community, but it's also for other people who would find it sort of value from this. And I think another really important thing too that I just realized a couple of days ago is that like I'm a huge podcast person. So my goal for the past like couple of weeks is to be listening for at least 10 minutes to a podcast. And I've been on that streak for a good like 30-ish days. But anyway, goals aside, I realized too that a lot of podcasts, like they just are not in the context and culture of being. So I think that's another thing is that this podcast was sort of created out of a need to sort of showcase or like show our perspectives of being Hmong because there's not a lot of podcasts out there that does that. So that's all I have to add to this conversation.
Yeah. So I think one of the last questions we had for this introductory episode is what are some of the topics that we plan on talking about and that we're excited to address for future? You'll have to stay tuned in for those topics.
I'm really excited about, we have with the longest list ever, and I can't wait for us to get each one of them. But I know I keep bringing up the term taboo because I do feel that a lot of those topics that we have listed are never really talked about or communicated in, or at least in a public platform. Like what we mentioned earlier, there's so many, there's a good handful of little podcasts out there, but we never, I feel, get to hear about the things such as, just behind closed doors or, and that specifically for me ties more deeply. So that's something that I'm really excited about, the family part and the dynamic of it and your perspective coming in with, your background and everything. That's a part that I really, really want to hear more about. I know we've had conversations more so about your particular thing, but I like that you have that family science background and being able to share that with the community. And what I hope most for is to hear people's feedback, because of course when you're sharing that and I'm hearing it, I'm reflecting on my book. God, I know that. You're just so unconscious about these things on a daily. So really it's the family dynamic part, those kind of topics I'm really excited for them to come through.
I'm really excited for the relationships, lifestyle, and health topics because I think in general that's sort of like what I listen to, but I know these ladies are pretty interested in that also. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm really big on and excited about like the spirituality and the emotional and mental wellness because that's really the journey I'm on right now, as these two ladies know, and you'll get to know later on. But those are the topics I'm excited about because I think we're seeing a really big movement even on social media right now about mental and emotional health too. So I'm really excited about those topics. Well, thanks for joining us on our first episode. This was just an introduction about what we hope to address. And thanks for joining us as we introduce you to a little glimpse of who we are Again, this is just a small little glimpse of who we are as people. We hope that you stay with us on our journey and get to know us a little bit more. But we hope that you stay tuned in, and we hope to see you on our second episode.